wrestling tale. Franco's got the stories that never go stale. With the champs, the underdogs, the dreamers too. He's walking and talking just for you. Walking with Franco, stories unfold. Wrestling hearts in a ring of gold. Walking with Franco, legends alive. Every step's a suplex in time.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Walking with Franco. And today, not only do we have a star by nature, but we have a star by name. We have the one and the only Rocky Starr. Rocky, thank you very much for taking the time to come and walk with Franco today.
How's it going, Franco? Thanks for inviting me along.
Not a problem, it's all my pleasure. Just before we kick off, you don't really need to do it, but please tell us a little bit about yourself and who you are for the listeners.
Yeah, so Rocky Starr. I've been wrestling since, God, let me think, it's been a while. Started training in the summer of 2012. So that'll be just over 13 years ago. So I got my start with Pro Wrestling Ulster. So started training with them, eventually did all the shows with them, and then started taking training with them. And then when the PW went away, then I joined, I was with Titanic from the very start, when that sort of took over from where PW left off in Belfast.
Yeah. So what's your first memories of wrestling?
From watching wrestling, you mean? Or doing wrestling?
How did you get into it?
Yeah, it's probably no different than a lot of other stories. Just watching it on TV when I was a kid. We got Sky TV in the house. I was about sort of 7 or 8. And just fell in love with wrestling the first moment I saw it, and it just became Saturday morning routine, and I just never stopped really.
Growing up, who was your favourite wrestler?
Oh, easy one, Stone Cold Steve Austin, all day long.
And I take it that's where the jacket comes from, in your gear?
Yeah, there's a wee bit of that, yeah. That was something I realised. It was never a conscious decision, but after I bought it and started wearing it, I thought, oh yeah, that's probably where I like the look of that from, yeah.
So why or how did you start training?
So I started with Pro Wrestling Ulster, as I said. So went along to a few of their shows originally. Me and a few of my mates, one of which was Kevin Brennan, one of our referees at Titanic. So yes, me and him have been friends since primary school. And and he said, he suggested, going along to training one day. And we did, and then the rest is history. We never really stopped, and I kind of owe that to him, because I had always wanted to do it, and I never really had the balls, never had the guts, and it was his encouragement that really sort of made me take the plunge. If he hadn't asked me to go along and we sort of encouraged each other, then I might not have ever started.
Yeah. So we've Kevin Brennan to blame for all
I
those
suppose
squats.
so. Yeah, I know.
So who were your first trainers then?
So at the very start, was a guy called Johnny Cool. So he taught the beginners class when we started. He also wrestled as Magico in Pro Wrestling Ulster. And then after him, then it was a group of people that took sort of the intermediate class. So you got JDP, Tron, Tucker, and Damien Corbin. They were the main ones that trained me.
Miller Moo, the milk to drink when feeling blue. Miller Moo for flavors. Which one's for you? Strawberry, banana, chocolate, cookies, and cream. Miller Moo, we love you.
Okay. So what were your first experiences, and what's your first memories of that very first training session?
First experience, I was maybe a wee bit overconfident. I don't know why, because I was in no way athletic growing up. Never played sports, never did anything like that in school or anything. So I don't know why I thought I would sort of take it easily. I remember taking my first bump, and you're always taught to tuck your chin, obviously, and protect the back of your head, and I didn't do that. So I learned the hard way, smacked the back of my head off the mat, rattled me a wee bit, and I never did it again since. So yeah, it's not as easy as it looks, and I think no matter how easy you think it's going to be, just be prepared for it to be tougher than you think.
So what was the hardest thing for you to learn or to master?
I think just, you mean in terms of like
Moves
particular
or
moves? Okay, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I used to really struggle with hip tosses, strangely enough. I don't know why. It was just something my body just didn't move, it didn't cooperate with me. Just took loads and loads of practice. Um, it wasn't something that came naturally to me. I just had to keep at it. And it is, you know yourself, you know, it's one of the first moves you learn. So
Yes.
it was a real learning curve for me. Um, yeah, that sticks out to me early on. But luckily I got there.
So you had mentioned there that went on to become a trainer at PWU. You're also one of the main trainers at Titanic Wrestling, and you were the first trainer that myself and Jacko
Yeah.
started with. How did Rocky Starr become a trainer?
I think, well, it was back in PW, it was JDP and DJ, the bad guys. They were the promoters of PW back in the day, and I think they just saw the sort of, I don't know, they must have saw some sort of qualities in me. They thought I'd be a good coach. They asked me to sort of sit in on a few of their sessions and take wee bits of training, and they must have liked what they saw, because then they started to give me classes to myself.
Yeah.
And I just sort of started doing it from there. And then that carried over then to the Titanic when that started.
So if you remember way back when Franco and Jacko started, what were your first impressions of Franco and Jacko? And don't worry, I can edit anything out bad about Franco. Jacko's staying in.
I thought yous were great. I love the idea of a father and son coming in together. I thought that was really cool. We never had that before. So it was cool to see you sort of play off each other.
Can you remind Jacko of that?
I will, yeah, yeah. And it's great to see how far you have both come. You know, I actually saw, it was a photo of your first class, and you both look totally different.
Yeah.
You know, even the change in your physiques and all, it's you look like different people altogether. So yeah, it's very cool to see the progression, both of you.
I can see the difference in Jack, the way his body's changing. I was speaking to, I think it was John McCann recently. I had gone into a shop because I'm a delivery driver, as anybody listening probably already knows. And the customer says to me, "Where are you going?" And I says, "What do you mean?" He says, "I haven't seen you in about a month, and look at the weight you've lost. You're disappearing." My head was just, I am now at the point where they always say that you will feel it before you see it.
Yeah.
I'm getting to the point now where I'm starting to see it.
Nice one. Good stuff.
So, what's the best thing for Rocky Starr when it comes to training beginners?
I like to see sort of the progression from nothing. You know, I think that's really cool. Like I mentioned, you guys coming in the door. You see people just coming in, stepping in the ring for the first time. They don't know anything. You know, you don't know how to roll, don't know how to bump, don't know how to wrestle at all. And when you see people start to get it, and then you see them sort of progress and eventually start having training matches and then make it on to shows. You know, it's very, very fulfilling for me to see, you know, to know how far people have come and to see their entire journey from day one right through to being on shows.
I know exactly what you're saying. I've also mentioned before that I helped out with a batch of trainees.
Yeah.
And I see what you're talking about there with some of the guys that come through and are now doing the inter sessions that we would do. And it's great to see that. Have you ever had to stop a training session and ask someone to leave?
No, I haven't, thankfully. No, I think we've become quite good at getting a feel for people. You know, we sort of get people, loads of people that apply. You know, we get a feel for people, whether they're going to sort of be a good fit.
Yeah.
So I think we've become good at kind of screening people out before that can even happen.
Yes.
So no, there's been no incidents in Titanic that I've heard of. So yeah.
That sort of brings us into my next question. In my day job, I have been a trainer, and being a trainer, you can normally tell within the first half an hour whether or not a person's going to stick to it. Would you have that mentality, or is wrestling totally different?
I try to be a bit more open-minded. No, I'll always give people a chance. I'll always give people the benefit of the doubt, because we've had people that don't get it right away.
Yep.
And then you'll find, you know, something that just takes people a bit longer than others to pick things up. and they eventually get there. So I try not to sort of judge people too harshly right away and just give them a chance and see how they get on.
Do you ever get frustrated whenever you see someone that you think has great potential, give it up?
A wee bit, yeah, yeah. Frustrated, really, I guess for on their
For
behalf,
them, yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
right. That's what I
yeah.
should make myself more clear there.
We've had loads of people come in, that really pick things up really well, and then they just disappear all of a
Yes.
sudden, and I get everybody has, circumstances in their own life, things change, and maybe they can't do it anymore. But yeah, it has happened a few times where people have disappeared, and you think, oh God, they could have
Really done
they
something.
could have gone far, yeah.
Yeah. What's the best bit of advice that you give to someone looking to start out as a pro wrestler?
Just do it. Just do it. Just get started. For me, I was, I put it off for a wee while. As I said, it was only when Kevin had said to me, "Do you want to do this together?" that I finally decided to go for it. But that was a few years after I had sort of first heard that there was training
Yes.
that I could go to. I wasn't that old when I started. I was 21 when I started.
Yeah.
But I could have started a few years earlier. If I'd done that, I'd be a few years ahead. The whole way. Of where I am at the minute. So I would say just do it. Just take the plunge. Try it out.
Well, I mean, I'm sure you've heard me say it in the past. If I had known about this 20 years ago, I probably should have done it about 30 years ago, but that's neither here nor there. But I had talked to, like, say, Ian McCandless and stuff, and the independent scene on this wee island is massive, but you don't know about it until you actually go looking for it.
Yes, absolutely.
And it was, again, I've mentioned this so many times before, we only started because Jack wanted to do it.
Yeah.
What is the best bit of advice that you have received in wrestling terms?
Um,
And who gave it to you?
There was one bit of advice that I got from Jordan Devlin a few years back, so JD McDonough,
Yes.
as he's known these days. And he said, just work hard, be a good person, and just keep plugging away. And eventually people will take notice of you. I think there's something that's very sort of important about that. You can only control what you control. You can control how hard you work, and you can control your attitude to other people.
Yeah.
And I mean, that clearly worked for him. Look at where he is now. But yeah, I think it's just good advice for anybody. Just put the work in.
So, whenever you started out, what were your first expectations?
In terms of what I could do, or
Yes,
in terms of
what you could do, where you wanted to go, and basically what you wanted to accomplish.
Yeah, I think I never had any big lofty goals or anything. I think all I ever wanted to do was to do it.
Yes.
When I watched wrestling when I was a kid, I thought, right, I want to do that one day. And that was all. I just wanted to do it, and I never intended to do it sort of short term or anything, but I just wanted to do it and see where it would go.
Yeah. So, the name Rocky Starr, how did that come about?
It's a wee bit on the nose. I was trying to think of characters or gimmicks. You're told that when you sort of start out. When you're about to be on shows, they come up with some sort of persona.
Yep.
And I was just trying to think of I'm a big sort of rock music fan, as I'm sure you know, big rock music fan, big metal fan. I wanted that kind of persona.
Yeah.
And I was trying to think of something like, Bret the Hitman Hart. So I was thinking of like something, the rock star something.
Yes.
And I couldn't think of anything at all. And then Rocky Starr popped into my head. So I'm a big fan of a band called Steel Panther.
Yes.
And their singer is called Michael Starr.
Yes.
So I thought of Starr as a surname, and then I thought, Rocky Starr kind of works as a bit of a pun.
What was that group called?
Steel Panther.
I think they sing a song for one of the Rocky movies, don't they?
No, they're quite new. No, they've only been around about 15 years or so.
I'm getting mixed up there. I just thought the Rocky, and I thought that had tied in there. So, you said you've been wrestling for 13 years. How many matches do you reckon you've had?
At the start I was very, very good at keeping track of that.
Yeah.
Actually, you hear people writing down, books and stuff. Chris Jericho famously did that. He published that book
Yes.
of every match he had, and I did that for years. Actually had a spreadsheet, so a wee bit more sort of
yes.
modern than a book.
Yes.
But at one point, I just lost track, which I'm always annoyed about because I was doing so well. I kept really good records, and now it's not complete, so I have to sort of guess.
Yes.
So I would say certainly a good few hundred.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that region.
You're saying there about keeping records, and I've read about Chris Jericho keeping the records, and I've been looking for the book. I just can't get hold of it yet. But when me and Jacko started, I was like, I'm going to keep a scrapbook. Not for me, more for Jacko.
Yeah, nice.
And our first match, I wanted to get a picture with Stephen Carvell and Dave McKinstry. We fought in the standard. That was the whole excitement of the day. It just went out of my head. And I haven't even started the scrapbook. So you mentioned about going wrestling with Kevin Brennan. You guys were a tag team called the Wild Stallions.
Yes, we were indeed, yeah.
Is that how you both started out as a tag team, or did you start out single and then join? Or
so we started training at the same time.
Yep.
I ended up having a couple of singles matches on shows before he was sort of at that stage.
Yes.
So I had a few singles matches, but he was very, very shortly behind me.
Yep.
So I think I had maybe 3 singles matches, something like that, 4. And then we had the tag team thing then.
And you were PW tag champions?
We were, yeah. That was pretty cool. We won those after a couple of successful tag matches.
And then there was a big breakup.
There was, yeah. So we had a bit of a losing streak, and I didn't take it too well, and I blamed him for it. So there was one point in a match I actually put up on my Instagram a few months ago, where I basically clocked him in the face with a chair as he was in the ring, and that set off a bit of a feud between the two of us.
And how did that feud end?
Didn't end very well for me. So it was we had a her versus her match.
Yes.
At the Europa Hotel, in front of about 300 people, and I was on the losing end, sadly. So I ended up with a shaved head that night, which he never lets me forget.
I pitched an idea to Titanic management recently that Jack could have a her versus her match against Ricky Blakely, or Blake Richards, sorry. And he looked at me and I'm like, that's the whole, we can be in the ring, they can come out and they can challenge Jack. And I go, whoa, you can't just challenge. There needs to be a stipulation. It can be a her versus her match. And Blake Richards and Jack can go, but he doesn't have any hair. And I go, well, if you win, he has to grow hair. And Jack was like, I'm not doing that, no way.
No, that her versus her match was good, because normally with those things you can predict what way they're going to go.
Yes.
And just for context, he has long hair now. He did back then, but I had long hair as well, so it was sort of equally sort of as much of a punishment for each of us. I'd grown my hair out for about a year, purposely for that match, and everybody thought, oh well, obviously, well, everybody thought, oh well, Rocky should probably get his head shaved,
yes,
get his comeuppance, but everybody thought, yeah, but he wouldn't go ahead with that.
Yeah.
So nobody actually knew what way it was going to go. And we didn't tell a single soul what way it was going to go until it happened. So it was a very shocking moment when it did.
Do you want to tell the listeners about a Facebook post that happened shortly before that match? You had told me a story about you and Mr. Brennan being seen out together.
Oh my God. I forgot about that. So normally I'm very, very good at keeping things sort of guarded.
Yep.
I try to keep what you see on shows, just that. I don't want to bring anybody behind the curtain when things are going on. And there was one point where there was a Northern Ireland wrestling fans Facebook group, and it used to be very, very active back then. A lot of the fans would come to our shows. And there was a post that went up, so there was a WWE show in the Odyssey at that time, and this is when me and Kevin were having our big feud, and we were actually at that show together, and somebody spotted us and put up a post in that group and said, "Oh, I hope to fall out again before the next show."
Yeah.
So I was absolutely furious. I still am when I think about it. I just
Kevin's fault.
annoyed at myself. Yeah, just annoyed that it happened. Because
yes.
I'm very, very particular about protecting things,
yeah.
And I was just annoyed that we let that slip a wee bit. at that point before the big match.
Now, I'm guessing 13 years in, a guy of your caliber, you have probably wrestled all over this island.
Yep.
There's probably, you could probably count them on maybe 2 or 3 fingers, the promotions that you haven't worked for in this island. Have you worked anywhere else?
Yeah, so I wrestled over in England for Squared Circle Wrestling, run by Marty Jones a few years back.
Yep.
And then just recently, I wrestled in Scotland for Community Pro Wrestling in Glasgow.
Yep.
So I've just got Wales to do, and then that's the whole UK ticked off.
Is there anywhere that you would like to work?
I don't have any particular goals in terms of promotions. Just anywhere and everywhere, really.
Yeah. I have asked this question to a few of the other guys that come on, and with you being a trainer too, you would probably see it a wee bit more. But is there anyone coming up through the ranks of Titanic that you think to yourself, I could have a good match with them?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought that just recently I had one with Darren Sparrow.
Yes.
Which did live up to.
He's a name that keeps popping up.
What I expected. Yeah, he's one that's really taken the scene by storm since he started. Yeah, there are a few more that are coming up. I don't know if they're quite ready just yet. A few that sort of the newer ones.
Yeah.
So I'll wait for them to sort of come through and establish themselves before I call them out. I don't want to put any pressure on anybody. Yeah.
So, who's been your favourite person to work with in Titanic in forms of matches?
So he's not really active anymore, but I always loved wrestling Luther Valentine.
Yes.
He and I started more or less at the same time, back in 2012 or 2013, whatever year it was. And we just always had a bit of a rivalry on shows.
Yeah.
So it was great to revisit that in Titanic with him. We just were very much on the same page in terms of what we like to do wrestling-wise and what we like to present in matches. So yeah,
Yes.
it's always fun to wrestle him.
So, if Titanic management came to you tomorrow and said to you, Rocky, next show, we want to bring someone in for you to work with, but we want you to pick someone where you've been a good servant to us. This is a reward for all your hard work. Who are you picking?
Oh, that's a tough one. Yeah, as you said, you know, there's such a big scene here, and there's so many people.
You can pick anyone in the world.
Anyone in the world? Wow.
Titanic management have told me money is no option, Rocky. It's Rocky. We're pushing the boat out.
Money is no option. Well, that's a tough one. It's very open-ended.
Yep.
I would say in terms of the local scene, I think it's a bit easier to think on the local scene. Guy's been around for a long time and put on shows together, but I've never actually wrestled him one-on-one. I've always wanted to wrestle Justy one-on-one.
Oh, yes.
I think he's a fantastic wrestler.
Yes.
He can do it all. He's very versatile. And had a couple of sort of multi-man matches and rumbles and stuff with him, but never actually one-on-one. So he'd be one that I would definitely like to check off the list at some point.
So, in the past, now I said you could wrestle anywhere. In the past, I know you have worked with former WWE and WCW heavyweight champion Kevin Nash.
Yep.
How does that come around?
That was crazy, yeah. So there was, the show was announced. So that was in Pro Wrestling Ulster. It was one of the last sort of big shows that promotion did. And it was in S13. It was a venue that used to be on Boucher Road. It was a big warehouse, used to be the old B&Q.
Yes.
It's now the Range.
Yes.
So it used to be a big sort of empty warehouse that ran events. So we used to run shows in there. And yeah, it was announced sort of a few months in advance that he'd be coming for a big show. And Andy, the promoter at the time, then asked me, you know, are you up for this spot? You know, it wasn't actually a match, just to be clear.
Yep.
He was sort of past the point where he was wrestling, but he was the guest general manager for the night. And it was going to be a bit of a face-off in the ring, a bit of a back and forth sort of promo.
Yep.
I said, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you know, who would turn that down? So I always remember him arriving on the day. And you go up as you do, you shake his hand, introduce yourself.
Yes.
And I'll not swear on your podcast, but I'll paraphrase what he said. He said, so are you the one that's going to talk crap to me tonight? I said, yes, I am. And he said, all right, I'll see you out there.
Brilliant.
And I was terrified. I was terrified but excited. I thought, right,
Yes.
this is a real sink or swim moment. We're not going to prepare anything. We know we're setting up a tag match with him being the general manager. So
Yes.
we just went out there. We played off each other, and it was a complete success. I'm very, very proud to say it was a very sort of defining moment for me. It really validated me. I thought, yeah, I'm all right at this. So yeah, it was very, very cool.
Have you worked with any other big names?
Yeah, I had a tag match a few years before that. It was me and it was me and Abyss.
Yes.
We were tagging against Tucker and Tron.
Right.
And so the whole story of that match was that I, obviously much smaller than Abyss, but I was sort of barking orders at him.
Yes.
For the entire match. I kept tagging him in, making him do my dirty work, and then I kept tagging myself back in to sort of pick the bones when he did all the graft.
Yes.
And then eventually towards the end of the match, he just had enough, and he grabbed me, big black hole slam, and the place went nuts.
Oh, brilliant!
And then him and Tucker and Tron all beat me up basically and left me lying. So yeah, it was a cool moment.
Brilliant. So we've talked a lot about wrestling. What do you like to do outside of wrestling?
Outside of wrestling, well, anybody that follows me on Instagram probably knows the answer to that. I'm a big music fan.
Yeah.
Love going to concerts. Try to go to as many as I can. So yeah, I've been very, very busy this summer. So I actually missed a few Titanic shows in June there, which I'm obviously not thrilled about. But yeah, I was away at a festival in France there. So yeah, just been non-stop all summer. All about the place from England to Madrid to Milan. Everywhere really.
What's been your favourite gig that you've went to?
Favourite
festival?
One that's very recent. Actually, the T-shirt I'm wearing at the minute was the Back to the Beginning concert.
Yep.
In Villa Park in Birmingham. So that was the big, finale for Black Sabbath.
Yes.
So that was obviously Ozzy Osbourne's last concert, and then unfortunately he passed away 2 weeks later, which is mind blowing. But just even before that happened, it was. We knew it was a really special day. It was never going to happen again. And then obviously now since he's passed away, it's even more special. So I don't know if that's going to be topped.
Yeah. Wow. So I know you also like to go to the gym a lot.
Yep.
What's your favourite thing to do in the gym?
Favourite thing? It changes all the time. Sometimes you just get fed up with certain exercises, and sometimes things just feel better on a certain day. So yeah, at the minute I'm really liking any sort of triceps stuff. Big fan of weighted dips, so that's probably my favourite thing at the minute.
What do you bench?
Bench.
What's been your heaviest bench?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I haven't really gone super heavy in a wee while. Let me think. It was about 2 years ago. I was sort of going a bit heavier. I'd say about 125 kilos.
Yeah.
It's probably about the max that I did.
What would be your heaviest deadlift?
Deadlift, about 205. Although I don't deadlift heavy anymore. I went back a few years ago deadlifting, so I've backed off the weight there.
Yeah.
Since then.
And what about squatting? What's your biggest squat?
Squat, about 170 or so.
Wow. I know you also love going to a seminar.
Yeah.
Has been your favourite seminar to attend?
Well, there've been so many. Yeah, I mean, I've been doing this a while, so I've done ones with Al Snow, Shelton Benjamin, Drew McIntyre, Santino Marella, Scotty Too Hottie. I'm sure there are way more, but they're the ones that jump out at me. I think the best one was probably the Al Snow one. It was a 2-day seminar. We brought him over to Belfast for PW.
Yes.
And he did a big weekend seminar with us. And I think that was 10 years ago. And there are things that are still seared into my brain, advice that he gave from back then that I still sort of use to this day.
Well, that was the next thing, was what was the best thing that you brought away from the seminar?
I think, yes, from the Al Snow one, so there was a bit of advice that he gave us where he said that nobody knows what a suplex feels like. So you have to tell them. But everybody knows what a punch feels like. So you have to make sure that your punches are in line with, what people know them to be.
Yes.
I think sometimes we're guilty of overusing things like punches, and anybody that's watching sort of trying to be a bit critical or a bit cynical can kind of, you're allowing them to sort of pick holes in what they're seeing.
Yes.
So I think, yeah, just trying to make it as real as people know that it is.
Yes, that makes so much sense.
There was another bit of good advice that I got from Santino Morella a couple of years ago, and he likened wrestling to a tug of war. And so if you picture two people having a tug of war, the rope is taut,
Yes,
and they can work that tug of war. They can work together.
yes,
As long as that rope stays taut, you don't know.
yes.
The second there's any slack in the rope, you know that something's up. So he always said, never have any slack in the rope
Yes,
on what you're doing in the ring.
that makes fantastic sense. Have you ever been asked to give seminars?
No, I never have. No, just had a regular sort of coaching gig at Titanic and PW.
So we've talked a lot about the past and the present. What's next for Rocky Starr?
Just good question. Yeah, who knows? So, as I said earlier, all I ever wanted to do when I was younger is to do this.
Yes.
And I started doing it. I'm still doing it. And I feel very sort of accomplished and fulfilled doing it at the level that I'm at.
Yes.
Not to say that I don't want more. I'll certainly take any opportunity that presents itself, and I'll go anywhere that I can.
Yeah.
So yeah, just to keep doing it as long as I'm enjoying it, as long as I'm healthy. Thankfully, I'm still physically in good shape. No major injuries, able to do this. So just do it as long as I can, as long as I enjoy it. That's the main thing.
Have you ever had any bad injuries in wrestling? I know you said you hurt your back deadlifting there, but
Yeah, thankfully not. Yeah, it might be luck, I don't know, but yeah, thankfully no major injuries, no broken bones or anything like that. There were a few times I've had a few burst eardrums, which is relatively minor when you hear of what other people have gone through. But that's not a nice thing to have happen to you. But thankfully that's about the worst it's been for me. Hopefully it stays that way.
so you're not off the hook yet, Robbie, because next up is the Franco heat sheet. And this is the part of the show that I like the best, because anything to paint you in a bad light makes me look really, really good. So first question is, did you ever break something at home and blame one of your siblings?
I can't think of any examples, but I can almost guarantee that I did. So I was the oldest brother in our house, so I had 3 younger siblings to blame for things. So yeah, I would say that's a guarantee.
I still blame the kids for everything that goes wrong in my house. Cats or dogs?
Oh, that's a controversial one. So about 2 years ago, I would have said dogs.
Yes.
My family has 2 dogs. So
I've seen the pictures of the
always had
Christmas numbers.
Shout out to Dexter and Chico at home. And then about 2 years ago, I got together with my girlfriend, who has 3 cats.
Right.
So I'd never been a cat person, never been around cats.
Yep.
But now apparently I'm a cat dad, as she likes to remind me.
Right.
So maybe I'm more of a cat person than a dog person these days.
Well, I can simplify with that because I wouldn't have had a cat about me until I met Mrs. Franco, and she was a cat person. And now we have 2 cats. We have Luna and Nova. I call them the 2 moon cats. But they look after themselves.
Yeah.
All you have to do is put food and water out for them and lift the occasional mucky business, clean out the litter tray now and again. But cats for me now, dogs are just. We used to have dogs. We used to have Rottweilers, and we didn't actually know this until me and Jacko started training. But we lived in the same estate, and I used to walk the 2 Rottweilers around the estate. And one died Christmas Eve, one died New Year's Eve.
Oh dear.
And I said to the wife, "That's it. I'm done with dogs. We're not getting another dog. No problem." And I came home from work the end of January, and there was this little ball of fluff, Shih Tzu, and my wife was like, "I got you a wee present." And I was like, "Are you for real? I've been walking 2 Rottweilers around this estate for the last 10 years, and they want me to walk that thing around?
Brilliant.
Not a chance." Pepsi or Coke?
Coke Zero,
Yeah.
specifically, yes, absolutely. all the way.
Do you know when your partner's birthday is?
I do.
Do you want to give us a date and a month? You don't have to give us a year.
15th of October.
Who do you text the most?
Yeah, probably her.
Yeah. Did you ever skip school when you were younger, or as we would have called it when I was young, go on the bike?
Once or twice, yes.
Name a four-letter word beginning with W.
Work.
What's your favourite shop to shop in?
Ooh. Has to be little. Get a good bargain in there.
What was the last thing you bought online?
Online, I bought a sleep mask which has headphones built into it.
I have one of those because, again, everybody knows when I am a delivery driver and I start quite early in the morning. And when I go to bed, it's usually bright outside. You can hear the kids playing on the street. And for good measure, Mrs. Franco likes to come and watch the TV while I'm trying to go to sleep. And she will still persist in tugging me and going, "Did you hear that? Did you hear that?" And I'm like, "I'm trying to sleep." So, what's your favourite movie?
Rocky 4.
Huge Rocky fan.
Best
Huge
soundtrack
Rocky
ever
fan.
as well.
Oh, yeah. What's your go-to lazy dinner?
Lazy dinner. Probably burgers.
Yeah.
Just lean mince.
You make
Form
them
them into
yourself?
burgers. Yeah, just.
That's not really a
throw
lazy
them in a
dinner,
pan.
now, Roger.
It's lazy enough.
Yeah.
Lazy enough. Yeah, not much effort involved there.
One of my lazy dinners at the minute is chicken thigh burgers.
Oh, nice.
You get them in Asda and they're frozen. You just pop them in the air fryer, a couple of buns, and that's you're laughing.
I'll have to give them a try.
If you could have any car in the world, which car would you pick?
You know, I'm not really a car guy, I have to say.
Motorbike?
Not a motorbike
No?
guy either. No, I'll pick a car. I'll have a think. The Batmobile.
Oh. Who's your favourite Disney character?
Disney. Probably Buzz Lightyear.
What never fails to make you laugh?
A good dad joke. Yeah, the worse the better.
Oh, I have quite a few of them, but you couldn't really say them on here. Who is the most annoying person in Titanic?
Blake
wrestling?
Richards. Don't even have to wait for you to finish that question. Easy.
Who was your childhood crush?
Childhood crush has to be Cameron Diaz in The Mask.
Oh, somebody stop me. Best friend in Titanic wrestling?
Again, yeah, we've been through it from day one. Has to be Kevin Brennan.
Who would you most like to have a beer with?
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah. Should there be more than one beer shared
Absolutely,
there?
yes.
Is there any music-related gig or festival that you wish you had went to or that you couldn't get tickets to?
I've been pretty lucky. You know, when I think back, I've been to a lot of big ones. I've seen a lot of artists and bands that aren't around anymore.
Yeah.
There are a few I never got to see, which some of my friends have, which they always make me jealous of. I'd love to have seen Ronnie James Dio live. Never got the chance to see him before he passed away.
Man's a legend. Tell us something funny that has happened during one of your training sessions.
There was a funny moment actually, which I captured on video, and I'm sure he remembers this to this day. This was a couple of years back. I was teaching the class how to do monkey flips.
Yes.
And it was Harlan Wolf, HW Muscle. He was on the receiving end of one. And so he was getting monkey flipped from the corner, obviously intending to land on his back, take a big bump from it.
Yep.
And he over-rotated slightly and just landed on his feet, clean as a whistle. And just the expression on his face, he didn't know what had happened.
Yeah.
He couldn't have done it if he tried. He landed perfectly on his feet. And it was one of the funniest things I've seen because it was completely unintentional.
Now, usually, whoever I have come on the show, I keep top secret and I keep tight-lipped about it because I do guess the guest. And there's a little guy called Keaton who keeps guessing these names. and his dad had told me just to bar him, don't let him in anymore. But I mentioned to one other guy in the locker room that I had you coming on today, and he said to me, "Ask Rocky to tell you about the Limerick Heat."
Oh dear. Okay, yeah. That's a good story actually. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. So this was a couple of years ago. This was when Phoenix Wrestling was still around. So they were primarily running in Cork, but they also ran some events in Limerick as well.
Yeah.
And we were doing this angle where Titanic was invading Phoenix Wrestling. So it was during the Phoenix Championship match. I think it was certainly Steve Savage. He might have been against Justy. I can't remember who he was against. But towards the end of the match, a few of us from Titanic stormed the ring. Basically just wrecked the show and destroyed the ring, ripped up the canvas, spray paint, did the whole NWO thing, sprayed a big T on Steve Savage's back in green. And the crowd were not happy about it. So I think it was me, JDP, Blake Richards, and Stephen Carvell. I think we were the four. And that was my first time ever in Limerick. And I'd been speaking to a few people, telling them, I'm wrestling in Limerick this weekend. And they went, oh, Stab City, you mean? What do you mean? So I didn't know Limerick had a bit of a reputation for not being the most friendly place. So the crowd absolutely lived up to that. So we did what we did, and they went mental. So we wrecked the show, ruined their main event, and they were going nuts. So fans started shoving us. One of the guys took a swing at me. I took a swing back. JDP had to pull us apart. It was pretty intense. Luckily, nobody got hurt. I was okay. Fans were okay. It didn't escalate beyond that. But yeah, there was a wee bit of pushing and shoving, a bit of physicality. Really, really intense. So yeah, that was a job well done. Complete success for us that night.
Brilliant. I was told you weren't invited back. Oh.
I don't know if I've been back. No, haven't been back in Limerick since, I don't think.
So, are you going to continue in your role as trainer for Titanic? There's no changes there?
Yeah, I certainly hope so. Yeah, I mean, I'll do whatever's asked of me, as far as that's concerned. Sometimes we shuffle things around, but
yeah, I know you went from beginners to enters.
Yeah. So I very much enjoyed, taking training. It's very fulfilling, and I always, as you know yourself, I'm always hands-on in those sessions. Yeah. So it keeps me sharp as well, getting hands-on and making sure that I keep myself sharp. As I'm teaching things, I'm teaching by doing, so.
Well, that was one of the things that, again, I hate repeating myself, but I had said it in previous shows that whenever I was given the opportunity to help out the beginners, I looked at it as a chance for a refresher course for me.
Absolutely,
the basics. And again, I think I took more away from it the second time around than I did the first time, And so wee things would come back into your head again. Oh yeah, I remember this.
Miller Moon, the milk to drink when feeling blue. Miller Moon for flavors. Which one's for you? Strawberry, banana, chocolate, cookies and cream. Miller Moon, we love you.
So, just before we finish, is there anything you look for in a trainee when they first come along? Or I know you said earlier you're open-minded, or is it just a case of let's see what you've got?
I think attitude's the most important thing.
Yeah.
I think that's something that you can't teach. People can learn how to be strong, and they can learn how to be, coordinated, and things like that. They can learn how to do wrestling moves.
Yeah.
But I think if somebody doesn't have the right attitude, then it's not going to work. So yeah, it's definitely something that I would sort of try to gauge for everybody that I see. Whether they're okay with being critiqued. Some people don't respond well to criticism. And to wrestle, to learn to wrestle, especially, you have to be very, very open to being criticized, because it's always constructive.
Yes.
So I think as long as you're always willing to get better, always willing to hear different approaches, because different coaches will tell you different things. You know, you can.
And different coaches train different ways
Yeah,
and
yeah,
different things.
yeah,
That's one of the good things that Titanic has with the good mixture of coaches that we have.
yeah. So I think attitude's so important. So I always try to look out for that early on.
It's just what I've mentioned again in past episodes. To me, a good training session is where I haven't been critiqued. If I can get through a session without somebody saying, do you want to try that again? So, as a trainer, do you prefer taking the bigger classes that we have at the minute as the smaller classes?
I think somewhere in the middle. I think if you have too small of a group, I think that, especially if it's a 2-hour session, which we usually have,
Yes.
it's a lot for, if you've like 3 or 4 people.
Yes.
2 hours is a lot of time because you're going to be on the go constantly for that whole session if you've only 4 people.
Yep.
Conversely, if you've 20 people,
Yes.
then it's going to be hard for everybody to get sort of equal time.
I was always in favour of the smaller classes because you got to do more.
Yeah, that's true as well.
That
Yeah,
was when I was starting.
Yeah.
Now I've been doing it a few years. I like it that there's a little bit more because obviously I'm not carrying as much weight as I was back then, but I was blowing up way easy in the smaller classes.
Yeah.
Now we have I suppose you could call it 15, 16, 17 people at a lot of the classes.
More
now.
sometimes, yeah.
You know, and it's great just getting that wee breather sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, and then there's times where you're standing like, would you hurry up?
Yeah, it's something I'm very mindful of, especially with the bigger groups.
Yep.
I don't want people sort of standing around for too long.
Yes.
I try to sort of keep people rotating in and out of the ring.
Yep.
I try to keep everybody warm and keep them active, keep them engaged as well, because you don't want people standing on the apron for too long and then conversations start happening and things like that. So,
Yes.
yeah, just try to keep everything moving.
Well, listen, Rocky, I am done with my questions. I just want to say thank you so much for coming along today. I greatly appreciate it. I know you're a really busy guy. I can't thank you enough. I really appreciate it. I take it you're taking training on Sunday?
Yes,
Yes.
I'll be there on Sunday.
Yeah, I might have to give that one. This will be a bit late. Missed the squats. Again, Rocky, thank you so much for coming along, folks. That's the end of the show. Stay tuned because Monday again we will drop another guest. Keaton, if you're listening, you're still barred. Guys, thanks again. Please take care of each other and stay safe.
Step through the wrestling tale. Franco's got the stories that never go stale. With the champs, the underdogs, the dreamers too. He's walking and talking just for you. Walking with Franco, stories unfold. Wrestling hearts in a ring of gold. Walking with Franco, legends alive. Every step's a suplex in time. From the streets of Rome to the locker room door, every walk's a match you can't ignore. Grapples and glory, the highs and the scars. Franco's footsteps are chasing the stars. Walking with Franco, stories unfold. Wrestling hearts in a ring of gold. Walking with Franco, legends alive. Every step's a suplex in time. From the streets of Rome to the locker room door, every walk's a match you can't ignore. Grapples and glory, the highs and the scars. Franco's footsteps are chasing the stars. Walking with Franco, stories unfold. Wrestling hearts in a ring of gold. Oh, gold. Walking with Franco, legends alive. Every step's a suplex in time. From the streets of Rome to the locker room door, wrestling hearts in a ring of gold. Walking with Franco, legends alive. Every step's a suplex in time. From the streets of Rome to the locker room door, every walk's a match you can't ignore. Grapples and glory, the highs and the scars. Franco's footsteps are chasing the stars. From the streets of Rome to the locker room door, every walk's a match you can't ignore. Grapples and glory, the highs and the stars. Franco's footsteps are chasing the stars. From the streets of Rome to the locker room door, every walk's a match you can't ignore. Grapples in glory, the highs and the scars. Franco's footsteps are chasing the stars. He's got the moves and the pasta charm. A gladiator's heart with a wrestler's arm. Through the ropes of life, the stories climb. Franco's walking and it's prime time. Walking with Franco, stories unfold. Wrestling hearts in a ring of gold. Walking with Franco, legends alive. Every step's a suplex in time. Step through the wrestling tale. Franco's got the stories that never go stale. With the champs, the underdogs, the dreamers too. He's walking and talking just for you. Walking with Franco, stories unfold. Wrestling hearts in a ring of gold. Walking with Franco, legends alive. Every step's a suplex in time. From the streets of Rome to the locker room door, every walk's a match you can't ignore. Grapples in glory, the highs and the scars. Franco's footsteps are chasing the stars. Walking with Franco, stories unfold. Wrestling hearts in a ring of gold. Walking with Franco, legends alive. Every step's a suplex in time. From the streets of Rome to the locker room door, every walk's a match you can't ignore. Grapples in glory, the highs and the scars. Franco's footsteps are chasing the stars. Walking with Franco, stories unfold. Wrestling hearts in a ring of gold. Oh, gold. Walking with Franco, legends alive. Every step's a suplex in time. From the streets of Rome to the locker room door, wrestling hearts in a ring of gold. Walking with Franco, legends alive. Every step's a suplex in time. From the streets of Rome to the locker room door, every walk's a match you can't ignore. Grapples in glory, the highs and the scars. Franco's footsteps are chasing the stars. From the streets of Rome to the locker room door, every walk's a match you can't ignore. Grapples in glory, the highs and the stars. Franco's footsteps are chasing stars. From the streets of Rome to the locker room door, every walk's a match you can't ignore. Grapples in glory, the highs and the scars. Franco's footsteps are chasing the stars. He's got the moves and the pasta charm. A gladiator's heart with a wrestler's arm. Through the ropes of life, the stories climb. Franco's walking and it's prime time. Walking with Franco, stories unfold. Wrestling hearts in a ring of gold. Walking with Franco, legends alive. Every step's a suplex in time.